Lame.
All right, so we had a little bit of an issue there, same as last week. You'll again, if you listen to the audio last week, you'll hear a, and then we'll be at this part. So as far as we were talking about exotic weapons for specific subclasses, but that kind of already exists just for the classes with Fabian Strategy and Tlaylock and Ace of Spades, right?
Cloak.
Tone loc? What?
The Tone Loc.
Cloak.
So
Bungie
I'm saying
pronounces it.
same idea, but broken down further to subclasses.
I feel like
I
that's
think that would be cool.
The only things I feel like that's going to get really hairy as far as like what those guns are going to do, balancing those guns, and then people being like, God damn it, fucking blah, 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 every time they switch subclasses and that gun's equipped.
Here's an idea. What if you changed it from guns to subclass specific armor?
Yeah, I was saying it doesn't have to necessarily be guns.
That would actually be cool.
I would like that, because as a Sunbreaker, I don't get anything but Immolation Fists, and those are fucking trash.
What do you guys think about class-specific armor? Oh! Stupid. I'm sorry. That was-
I would like to see quests for armor, not just for weapons, though. That would be cool.
Yeah. So let's move on. As far as strikes go, I mean, I would like to just see some new mechanics. You know,
or just mechanics. Period.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that
Simple
would be,
ones. I mean, simple, easy ones, because it's a strike, not a raid. But
What's the strike where you got to cleanse yourself?
That's
Nexus
Nexus
Mind.
Mind?
Is it Nexus Mind?
You would
It is
not
Nexus.
believe the amount
It's
of
the
times.
new restorative.
Yeah.
it's Nexus Mind.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Okay. So you would not believe.
It's the hive version of Nexus
I'm
Mind.
gonna fucking shoot you. The amount of times I
The
go.
Vex version of the Nexus Mind.
The amount of fucking times I go into
Because
that
there's only
strike.
Vex versions.
The amount of times I go
And
into that
Taken version.
fucking strike. Welcome to the Crosstalk Podcast. No, I go into that fucking strike and with blueberries, and they're just dying every time that happens, and you're just like,
They don't
really,
know what to
guys?
Do you
They're-
not know how to do
they're-
this?
I mean,
Good, yeah.
it's not even like you have to have played Vault to get it, because like, oh shit, my screen's going black and there's a glowy thing on the map. Maybe like go towards it, see what's up with it. Like it
Run
doesn't
towards
seem
the
that
only
hard.
thing you can see.
Yeah.
It makes sense if it's like your first time ever doing it and you've never played Vault of Glass. And that's okay for a couple wipes. But when you see the team clearly going, like screen starting to go black, and then everyone's going into that pool of light and coming out, it should, like something should register, oh, maybe that's what I have to do.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
my favorite's in the relic version when blueberries grab the relic and then are just running around with it, not doing what they're supposed to. It's like,
That
I got this
do
thing.
understand. 'Cause, like,
Triggered.
that is a little bit hard to deal with.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like everyone says they wanted mechanics and strikes, and then they gave us Echo Chamber, and everyone leaves at the beginning of Echo Chamber.
The
So
only strike I leave is Omnigal. I hate
Dude,
that.
I'll be
Well,
honest.
it's so
with you.
easy
there
now.
There are certain strikes where if I see that strike come up in the playlist and I'm with blueberries, I'm like, nope, not doing it. Because I've spent an hour at the fucking boss room before with Wretched Eye.
Oh,
and I'm just
fuck.
like, what?
Wretched
I'm
Eye
like,
is
what?
kind of tough.
Yeah, what
That's
the
a
fuck
pain.
do you? Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck do you not understand? Like,
I would like more stuff like Wretched Eye, though. I thought, like, when I played that, I was like, this is fucking cool. Like, this is really sweet.
even when you have a team, though, like we had, like myself and a friend were playing that. I think it was 2 weeks ago or something, and we had this third guy who just kept basically charging Kovics like head on, purple stream and everything. He's a blueberry, charging Kovics, dying, and then like we'd revive him, and he'd do it again, and it's like, do you like square peg round hole, bro? Seriously.
Like, the issue with that strike is it's not even a mechanic. It's just, hey, when ads are falling from the ceiling, you should shoot them because they just
Yeah.
tear you apart. And that's, I think that's really what the issue is. It's just when the ads are at like an unaccessible level, they are still able to shoot you, and you're just like, what is happening? Where is this coming
Yep.
from?
But like,
I tell you
And that's just not all
that's
right.
yeah, that strike made me hate Shanks. As a late Taken King
Yeah.
player, I was like, "Pfft, Shanks, who gives a shit? That strike, I'm like, no, fuck those things. And then I went into Wrath of the Machine, and I'm like, this is crap. These things have never been an issue before.
Well, you never played Taken King Saber 2
oh,
because it was the
fuck
same
that as
issue
the
then.
Nightfall.
God. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
was the same issue then, only it was like, okay, Shanks, and it's like we learned. You watch for the Shanks at this stage, and then once you take out the Shanks, then you DPS. But
right.
in Wretched Eye, it's like, is it Shanks? I don't know yet.
Yeah.
They just sort of come. There's no visual cue. There's no Kovacs is breaking down like Saber breaks down.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, fucking Fallen Saber on Nightfall arc.
Yeah, I figured.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
That's
figured
one of
out.
those times if I saw that and it like wasn't Daybreak or something, I'd be like, nah, I'm just not gonna fucking play that.
I'm
Even
good.
if it was
However-
I'm not doing that.
With the right burn on Saber, if you've got a decent team, you can just melt the Saber real quick.
Oh yeah, we played.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with Strike. It's just arc burn.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
that.
We fucking melted him this week. I was playing my Solar Warlock, that guy. I don't remember his name,
Yeah.
but it was fun.
Bob.
So that's strikes. Now we're moving into the big daddy raids, and I hate that I can't remember who said this, but somebody was talking about a raid where you're running away the whole time, and that sounds like the coolest fucking thing.
A lot of people have actually said that, or said things like that, because that's like the one of the most amazing. I'm sorry. I need to put like. Well, that'd be a waste. I'm moving out in a couple months. I need to I want to mount it on my wall instead of I have it propped up on a tube. In Taken King, the Lost to Light mission, where you get to the end and it's like you even see the mission countdown numbers and it's like, okay, we're gonna go, and then the audio statics out and you're just like, the fuck's going on? And then it's like, run, and it's like, wait, run? What do you mean? Why am I running? This doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
shit
scared
was
the
so
fuck
fun.
out of me the first time I played that on my Titan. I'm like, sweet, I did it. What's happening? What?
Yeah.
What?
So something like that would be really cool, where if they had like a stopping wall where that you're just like, you got to kill this thing or else you're not going to be able to keep running away. And that would be cool because then it kind of creates like a need to get to that point quickly. You know what I mean? Like say you have like 60 seconds to get from A to B and kill the guy. So if you don't get there within the first 10 seconds or something, you might be fucked.
Well, he never got back to me, so I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm in a group DM with a bunch of lore people, and Baxter from the Ishtar Collective said how he'd actually like to see something like incorporating our sparrows as a mechanic in the. And that's been something I've heard a couple times, and I just sort of took that as like a jumping off point, and I was like, I would like to see that, and he's like, I'd like to see it like this, and I was like, I don't like your idea, I like my idea. So I was like, I looked for the message, I copy pasted it, I said, I'd love the story build up that Cade's team is sort of fighting up from the inside while protecting those who are still in the city. Like the Cabal took prisoners. The city is locked off, and while the majority of the outer edges are freed, in the campaign, the inner ring directly surrounding the tower is still locked down. So after our success with defeating his war efforts, Gaul decides to execute civilians. So we sort of board on a massive roaming land tank that circles around the tower, and it stops at 4 encampments, where they would be killing the civilians. So it's sort of like the confluxes. We can't let them. We have to stop the Cabal from getting out.
Right.
But it's like a rotating one though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't see it rotating. It's just that's sort of what's happening, because you'd be on it or in it. And on the tank, we'd have to ride there and be at a transport debuff, which lowers accuracy and handling. Cabal start flooding in. And we stop to protect the buildings because Cabal are trying to set explosives on it like they did with the Shield brothers on the Dreadnought. And then, so, we were talking about it, and I was like, so to get up to that point, it's like we would have to have a thing with sparrows where we're chasing it down, and there's smaller land tanks, and you send someone up on the land tank, like think Siege Engine, how when you kill Mexis, the ramp drops down.
Yeah.
So you can ride your Sparrow on it, and you have to like disarm or detonate the small tank. But once you do that, the Cabal are locked onto you, so you can't do it again, or they'll kill you immediately. So it's like it's gonna sort of throw everyone into the action, or at least 3 of the people into the action, sort of divided up. Like, okay, I'll get first tank, I'll get second tank, I'll get third tank, but no one can get all 3, or even 2 of them. So it's sort of like a team wipe type of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
I'd like to see more like diverse mechanics like that.
I think I would like to see more of our fire team being split up in raids. Like,
Yes.
if you think of the Atheon fight when you get sent to the past or the future, I really like that, how you're just kind of like, there's 3 other guys, I have no fucking clue what they're doing. Like, they can tell me, but like I can't see them. And like, even if it's as simple as like coming to like a fork in the hallway and you're like, yeah, one group's going to go off and do this one thing, the other group's going to go off and do this other thing. I'm sure they can make them connect somehow, one affects the other.
And that's really something that we'd have to look in with the Cabal, because Hive and Vex, Hive and Vex are paracausal. Vex have, or Hive are paracausal. Vex have like time travel elements. Fallen with Siva have some like every mechanic with the Fallen was nanites. They would just swarm the room to kill us with nanites, or they had a shield protecting them from damage, so we had to use Siva bombs to take out their shield. But the Cabal don't really have anything like that. So I'd like to see like very real world mechanics, like I said, where there's like a transport debuff. You're on this bouncing land tank. Your accuracy goes to shit, and that's just the debuff. And with the other thing, you're like target locked debuff, where if you go on another land tank, they're gonna kill you immediately because they've got you locked in.
Yeah.
Where like the rest of the team is weaving in and out, sort of like SRL.
SRL. I mean, even like something with the Sparrows as simple as just running away from something and having it like. Just picture going down infinite descent, but there's something chasing you the whole time. So if you suck really bad, you're just going to die.
That'd be very frustrating for people. It'd be like the jumping puzzles.
Yep. And
I fucking hate this. Just pull me.
All right, do a Sparrow jumping puzzle.
Oh my god.
That, you have to race through an SRL track, start to finish, to get away from something.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. And I know this is sort of getting off the topic of raids, but I'm hoping SRL makes a comeback in Destiny 2, because I will be upset if it doesn't, because we are missing
so fun.
We are missing 2 locations, and it would be very upsetting if we did not get these 2 locations. The moon, which I thought like a very cool moon map would involve actually sort of a Sparrow jumping puzzle, where it's like it's got the fork in the road, you can go around, or if you're stupid, you can go across and jump like from tomb ship to tomb ship, and if you can like follow Sparrow. And what needed to happen was one in the reef, which is essentially Rainbow Road. There's no rails, you're just going asteroids. Just ruin the friendships. Like, let's go. Why is that not in there?
Brother Vance is just kind of standing off to the side waving at you. Good luck.
At the wrong time.
Oh, man. So I guess that kind of brings us to the, like, just, I guess, the cleanup thing. I thought, what about level scaling? And then I immediately thought, fuck that. I don't want to see, like, enemies scaling with me. Like, oh, you're level 40, I'm level 20. We can both play together. Yeah. Don't want to see it. Don't care.
No. It ruins games.
I do think that a max level mode would be sick, where there's just like, whatever you do, it's going to be 400. For, all intents and purposes, 400.
Like true Vault Hunter mode on Borderlands?
Don't know, because Borderlands sucks.
Borderlands.
Oh, we can't be friends anymore.
I hate that fucking game.
It's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good.
Well, when I got to their vault at the end of Borderlands 1 and it was an enemy and not a place to get awesome guns to do a News Story Plus, I just said, fuck this game, and I never played it again.
You get guns at every step of the way.
No,
Yeah.
I was like so looking forward to like, oh, there's gonna be all these
Alien
fucking
gun.
insane guns here, and then nothing. Also, that game pisses me off with the way they generate weapons, but that's a story for a different time. I also did think about this. So you know how elemental primaries were a big issue with Age of Triumph coming back. Everyone's
Right.
like, they're like, what are they going to do with elemental primaries? And Bungie kind of had their thing where they're like, we don't like it because it makes everyone only use those weapons.
Mhm.
You know what would solve that is make every primary elemental. Because it doesn't really do shit in Crucible, and it would be super cool because I always loved in year one when you would spec out and you'd have your Solar, your Void, and your Arc, and you're just like, okay, so like when I see an enemy with a shield type, I know how to take it down, and it's like the little bittiest mechanic.
Speaking of weapons, what do you guys think of being able to modify and build weapons similar to some of the other games where there's like a visual mod or even armor? Like different Borderlands, you mentioned that kind of made me think about it. There's certain weapons that can roll with different pieces, and depending on like the piece, it affects a stat. Like a Jacob's barrel on like a Vladov, I think it is, increases range or something like that in Borderlands. So like if you could get different barrels and upgrade certain guns, granted it wouldn't be like able to make an unbreakable one, but it would be able to like basically the physical parts of the weapon or even the armor would affect the appearance.
Yeah, I'm always down
Like
with that.
Mass Effect.
Because my
Straight up.
biggest beef with like Borderlands and like kind of the weapon system in Destiny is stop giving me guns with stupid fucking perks on them. Like when you would get a fucking like long range scope on a shotgun in Borderlands, you're like, this is so fucking dumb. Like that just obviously doesn't work. So like if we could have some system of picking that stuff, that would be cool. It just scares me that the like grind to get a perfect weapon would be too easy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that just makes me think straight up of Mass Effect, where you can get mods for your weapons, or you have like 3 mod slots and you can pick, a different barrel, a different stock, a different,
Because I was even
different
thinking
whatever.
like one of the things that I do when I'm looking at my Titan and I'm switching stuff around, it's like the armamentarium made me think of this specifically, is that like you can carry more heavier special ammo with it. So like what if when you switch to carrying special from heavy or whatever, you get like a bigger pouch and it just shows up. Like I think that would be kind of a cool thing. Or as you're going along, say it says a piece of armor has the potential to carry more ammo, like your rocket launcher ammo boots or whatever. Like you actually see the shells on the boots, when you equip that node or something like that. And that way it would make it a little bit, I think it would be better. Because, I'm always looking to carry more ammunition. I love heavy weapons. I'm a Titan. I like blowing things up with rocket launchers and, just burning stuff with sleeper simulant. That's funny to me. So if I can carry more heavy ammo, and if I can like buy mods or something to like in game with Glimmer or Legendary Marks, whatever, to carry more heavy ammo, I absolutely would love that.
Yeah, that'd be
When it comes to armor, I'd like to see either like how it is now, we have the percent intellect discipline rolls, and to assume that's going to carry over if high-end gameplay only gave 100%. Like high-end raids,
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
hard raids should only give 100%. Or at the
Yes,
very least,
please.
challenge modes. There has to be some
Yes.
guaranteed way. None of this
I
like,
agree.
well, I played the raid and
Yes.
I got 5 boots. That's cool. Like if it's like normal hits the cap at 95 and hard hits the cap at 98 and challenge gives you 100, something like that.
Yes.
Where
That'd be so
they
great.
give you very direct paths to get the things you want. And also, armor needs to take a page out of the Wrath of the Machines book, where it needs to be rerollable. Weapons,
Yes.
never again.
Absolutely.
That was bad. But armor needs to be, because everybody has their own little play style. Like I would love to have 2 sets of arms, one for hand cannon reloader and one for sniper rifle reloader, because hand cannon's for PvP and sniper's for PvE.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
That'd be fantastic.
So I think that about wraps up all the stuff I had. I mean, we were going to do some story lore speculation stuff, but it is running late for this podcast. So we still have quite a bit to go through. So I think let's go through our we have 3 community send-in emails. Fuck, I didn't think of a good idea to call this, like what to call this at all. The Barely a Destiny Show listener feedback fun time. There, that's what it's called. We got our first one on Twitter from co-founder. It's at _co_founder. You can find him on Twitter. He says, endgame PvP. Have a specific set of guns available to use. One of each archetype, re-rolled weekly. Changes meta, stops breaking PvE. What do you guys think about that?
Is he saying PvP can only use these guns?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do believe so. Kind of, honestly, it reminds me of like Call of Duty. When you go in and you're like, okay, so I have like 10 guns and that's it.
I dislike that. I dislike the idea of limiting anything in that sense.
See,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, as far as like all PvP goes, don't want it. I think it would kind of be cool for like the super sweaty, everything's got to be even, we all have to be crazy competitive. If that was the case, you'd go in and they're just like, today you could pick a IS Luna, Extremophile, you know what I mean, whatever, just guns.
Yeah.
And they all have the same rolls on them. Here's my only problem with that, though, is I really don't think that Destiny 2 is going to be super competitive PvP.
No.
Well, I'm trying to think of where I heard it. Someone said, what if the casual playlist was just whatever, but the ranked playlist had sort of like gunsmith weapons, only they don't suck. Like they had these weapons with these perks, and they are very restricted loophole weapons. So if you want to go into the ranked playlist, the competitive playlist, you don't get all your game-breaking exotics and stuff like that. I thought that's sort of like a middle ground that I think I can get behind.
The only problem I have with that is I would never want to play it. Like I'd be like, well, fuck that. I'm playing unranked all the time because I love these guns that I have. I don't want to go in and play.
Well,
with
then
these.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know how many people would be on the same page as that.
With the casualness of that's your choice, or with the I would like to see that. Like, what do you mean?
Because I kind of like to get a little bit sweaty, but I still don't want to use those guns. Like I want to use my guns, kind of thing. And that opens up to now. Well, now we have 3 playlists. We've got unranked, ranked with your own guns, and ranked without. And then I'm just like, is that too much?
Well, I'm saying too. Just there's unranked, which is anything goes, and ranked, which is these gunsmith PvP endorsed weapons.
So I guess I wouldn't mind. It would be another thing like Trials where I just would never play it.
Yeah. I would
But
never play ranked then.
I do see that like appealing to a lot of people though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's a terrible idea. I'm just like that's not my Destiny that I want to play.
Not my destiny.
Not my
Hashtag.
not my Destiny.
Okay.
We got another email. This is from Narwolf again. He sent us an email. What was it, last week? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I don't remember. He says, says, since speculation is running wild since the teaser trailers, I figure I'll throw something out there. I could be way off on this, but I feel like there might be a connection between the Exo Stranger and Osiris. Maybe since he took an interest in the Vex and their tech, he could have been able to implement and test out basic Vex tech on the Stranger and somehow integrate it into her build. And then he says, parentheses, given evidence from the lighthouse where it looks as if mad scientist or Osiris turned into a Vex lab. Lol. She clearly says she wasn't forged in light, yet she can warp in and out of space and time in a somewhat Vexy way. Also, in that long vanilla cutscene, she speaks with someone whom we have no idea. Could it be Osiris? And what might the dilemma of that conversation be? Anyway, I wish these sort of odd mysteries somehow got fleshed out in Destiny 2. Thanks for reading. And he says, P.S. Failed Astronauts is fire. And that's my band. Fuck yeah. Narwolf. So what do we think about that? About the Exo Stranger and Osiris having ties together? Do you think we're going to see the Exo Stranger in Destiny 2?
Not
That's a lot.
immediately.
She's been gone for a while.
Has the voice actress been confirmed for Destiny 2 yet?
I don't know.
I
I
would
know
look that up.
Nolan North is.
Yeah. If she has, I missed it. I don't know. I think they're going to put off the Exo Stranger. I think we could see her in the Osiris expansion. But that said, I don't know if they're going to do that right off the bat.
See,
I think she'll be I think her first appearance in the Destiny 2 cycle will be the Rasputin or the Warmind expansion.
yeah, because of that whole teach me how to step thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always assumed she was talking to Rasputin in that part.
Well, see,
you don't know who
here's-
she's talking to.
Here's what gets me though is that the Exo Stranger has such a connection with Future War Cult. So I'm trying to think of how Future War Cult and Rasputin could kind of be tied together. I mean, other than
Well, the beginnings of Future War Cult in the lore, the beginnings of Future War.
they call it the
they-
War Minds.
Yeah, they call the War Minds to at the Ishtar Collective when they're studying the Vex frame.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't Future War Cult.
yeah.
No, it was who was it? It was Maya and Kioma, right?
Hmm.
yeah.
And then
And Dwayne.
they end up. The Future War Cult originated from them and the Ishtar Collective in their studies, right?
Well, no, the Future War after the Ishtar Collective incident, Maya Sundaresh went to go work at Lhasa, and they created the device, and
Right.
it was through working with the device, separate
That's-
from Ishtar. It was
Okay.
from working with the device that people started to. They felt that. It's hard to explain. They started to perform ritualistic behavior, not like there was anything wrong with them. They just got superstitious about it. So they inadvertently made a cult, and she made a joke about that.
yeah. I mean,
Because in her last entry in that journal, she says she's leaving the journal, can't take it with her,
Mhm.
and then it's going to be
Yeah, and that team is what essentially created the Future War
Future
Cult,
War Cult. Okay, yeah,
but that wasn't Ishtar.
right.
Yeah. But I mean, there is a sort of loose tie because I feel like the Ishtar Collective is the prequel to the prequel to the prequel of Future War Cult.
I mean,
And
yeah, in a way,
loosely
but
there
that's-
was a war mind sort of tied in. I mean, there's a war mind tied in with the Ishtar Collective, which
Yes.
eventually ties into Future War Cult. So maybe something with those two and the Exo Stranger. I really, that's making my head hurt
Well-
think about it a little bit.
I mean, just because there's a connection in one area doesn't mean it's going to be connected to all of the connections. You know.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, that's the only way I could
Because-
connect Future War Cult to a war mind.
Toland is connected to Osiris. Toland calls out to Osiris while he's in the overworld. And Osiris is connected to Marasav. So that's sort of like saying, oh, so Toland must be connected to Marasav. It's like, no. But Toland is also connected to Eris, who is also connected to Marasav. But still, Toland is not connected to Marasav. It's
Yeah.
just,
We're grasping at
it's-
straws here with trying to tie all that together.
yeah.
What if
Personal-
it's not Rasputin that the Exo Stranger is loosely tied to?
I hope it's the 9. That shit would be fucking sweet.
Or Charlemagne?
No,
Yeah?
it is Rasputin.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
I
know
am
if that's
not
a war mind.
Caught up with my lore.
We got our last email. Oh, this is so funny. It's not from a Hotmail account, but it is from JC Jesse.
Did he get a new email since we called him
Yeah,
out?
I'm not. I think he did change it. It's still something I've never fucking heard of. I just don't want to give it away. He says, "Hello, Barely ADS. First time, long time here. And I was wondering, what are your thoughts on character customizations? Is it necessary to have full frontal genital customization as well? Thanks so much, and keep up the good work. Yours truly, JC Jesse. Sent from my iPhone." I don't know if I should have read that last word. I mean,
He has an iPhone. I like him a lot less now. I like you a lot less now too.
I mean, if I could get some dick beards in Destiny 2, really make it furry, I think that would be like a picture like Shax's armor, but like around my cock. I think that's pretty important to me as far as D2 character customization goes. I gotta ask though, do we think beards are gonna be there?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Beards?
Beards.
Yes.
Like
I don't know
honestly,
why they wouldn't. I don't know why they weren't there to begin with, honestly.
Right?
I kind of hope they don't do it, just so it's like a running joke that like Destiny doesn't have beards. Nobody has them.
I sort of
Or
hope that
just
as well.
give them to Exos.
No, give them everything but a full beard. Like you could have a mustache, a soul patch, sideburns, like everything but the full fucking beard.
You can even put them all together, but they don't connect.
Yeah,
These are all great ideas.
it looks just fucking terrible. So, Anon, you're our guest today, so we're gonna ask you some guest questions.
Oh, okay.
And if you could,
before Ghost, it was Ghost Fragment Rasputin 4, where he's talking to someone who is most likely the Exo Stranger. So
yeah.
it's not anyone else. And as far as we know, Charlemagne is still offline. If he's in the game, I mean, it's pretty confirmed he's in the game, but it hasn't been. His name has never been directly stated in game.
There you heard it. You heard it there first.
I mean, not first, but sure.
You heard it. You heard it here first.
Yeah, for the first time here, you heard it.
Yes. So, Anon, if you could create an exotic weapon or armor, what would it be?
I've actually already had this planned out for a while now, because a while ago I thought about that. I wanted to sort of change the system, sort of like how Ephrodite came and replaced Saladin for the Iron Banner. I wanted another disciple of Osiris to come in and replace Brother Vance. I was hoping like the lighthouse would become the social space, and Brother Vance would be his own thing, and then Sister Sabri would come in and become the vendor. And the first thing that you notice about her is she doesn't have her left arm. She's only got one arm, and she talks about like how she's had like this battle where something went wrong, and Trials of Osiris, even though I would never get it, would have a quest to get an exotic hand cannon.
And it's literally a hand. It's her hand.
No,
Put a cannon on your arm like Mega
what's
Man.
it called? Hammerfell? I think I called it Hammerfell. And the thing about it was, like, her story is when she was in a Trials of Osiris match, trying to prove herself, her incendiary grenade exploded and it detonated early and blew off her arm. But in the heat of the moment, instead of waiting for her ghost, she pulls out her hammer of soul and just cauterizes the wound and then continues to fight. And so she hasn't lost a fight since that match. So she's never fully regenerated her arm. So it's like a sign of pride for her. So with a one-armed NPC, you need a weapon that will work. And one thing you can't do is reload with one arm.
Oh, okay.
So every consecutive critical hit will regenerate the magazine.
So
That's
like,
it.
you have to
That's
get like
exotic.
2 to regenerate. Okay.
The magazine. Yeah.
I like that. I like that you had lore with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is like, I want a bubble that you could wear. I mean, shout out to Buster though. That is a fucking sick exotic. I would fucking love that. But damn.
So it's a
Portable bubble.
consistently regenerating hand cannon.
Oh,
And
like that.
I think to keep it sort of fair, it would have to be in the Thorn archetype, not the Hawkmoon archetype.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it would just get a
Shotting
little
people.
too much.
man. I thought you were gonna be like, it's a hand cannon that shoots grenades.
Nah.
That would be fucking sick.
Because like whenever I think about stuff like that, like the very first thing I think of is like how can it be cool but still be like very like yeah, that's reasonable. That will fit in the universe without breaking the game.
That's awesome. So if you could create an emote, what would you have as your emote?
I don't even know. The one emote that I always thought I really wanted was Elaine's dance from Seinfeld, which is now the kick dance. So it's already in there.
Oh.
And then like the other emotes like that I could ever actually think of was Deej's dance, and that's in there. I didn't want Dab, although I love Dab now because it's so effective at dodging bullets of any kind. It's stupid how good you can evade attacks with the Dab.
Roll the dice.
I wouldn't want
I don't know. I always thought just pulling out a
But it's-
mug and teabagging in the mug would be great.
See, I wouldn't like. I don't know. I honestly can't think of an emote that is not already in the game that would do better than what they already have.
You could do a real stale joke and do planking. You just like stand up straight and then just fall the fuck
Yes.
over.
I would like that. That
Oh my God.
This guardian's planking all over.
if it was literally just like you can plank, because then you can go on the railings and then you can just plank and you just sit there on the railing. So there would actually be guardians planking all around the tower all the fucking time. That'd be so awesome.
Oh man.
Like that's my issue. It's like I like stupid things, but I'm not trying to like do these like stupid like, oh, it's a teabag reference or shit like that.
Yeah.
God, I swear to God I had one and I just can't think of it. We're gonna get off of this. I'm gonna be like, oh well, now I remember what it was.
Well, we can come back to it.
Yeah.
Scott, do you have Destiny Jeopardy questions still?
I do. I have them on my phone.
Okay, cue them up, and then we'll get your. This is the last guest question, and that's a guest loadout. So let's.
Really, really quick, I actually got the emote. I
Oh.
got the emote. So, is it all right that it has a backstory?
Yes.
I went to high school and I went to a tech school. So my technical class was electronics, and we had the freshman sophomore teacher and the junior senior teacher. We would alternate freshman senior and junior sophomore. So we had the same teacher for 2 years and then the next teacher, and they were in essentially the same classroom. We just had a wall with a big window dividing us. And for 4 years, I was very very interactive with both teachers. For 4 years. The other teacher, Mr. Fita, would go like this, and we didn't know why. And like we would ask him things, and that was his fucking answer. And we were like, what the fuck does that goddamn mean? And on graduation, we got our diplomas, and he calls everyone back to the shop, and he sits us down. He puts his feet up on the desk and censor things. I'm not gonna accidentally somehow get him in trouble. And he tells us, not just me, the story about when he was a young apprentice, I think at like a radio station or something like that. His boss used to do that to him. And then when he was finally leaving, he asked his boss, he's like, I gotta know, what does that mean? When I ask you something, what does that mean? And his boss just looks at him and goes, shit knows.
For the audio listeners, he's making like an okay sign and putting it over his nose. So it's like you're putting your nose in a butthole.
Yeah. So I would love. So whenever someone says, "Well, like, how do you do this?" I can just do that emote.
Like fuck.
Shit knows.
Shit knows.
What if we got an emote that's the Homer Simpson kiss my ass, where he's like jumping up and down and pointing at his butt?
That'd be a good Destiny Fun Police. Like that one, I bet.
Yeah, it would.
That would get me in his fucking like that fucking asshole.
Just do shit
Go in
nose
there,
back
pop
to
him.
So what do you like to use when you go into the Crucible? If you're playing top of your game, what class, subclass, and then your stuff?
I am ultimately a gunslinger. Have always been ultimately a gunslinger when I'm at the top of my game. I did run with Chaperone for a while and with that, I ran Blade Dancer, but I stopped doing that to go back. But right now, it's Palindrome and alternating from sidearm to shotgun to sniper to fusion rifle. And if it's not Palindrome, it's Jade Rabbit. That's probably my favorite exotic for PvP purposes.
Dude, I've still never gotten a Jade Rabbit. That shit pisses me off.
Oh, good. It's so good. Like whenever the enemy team is really heavy on their snipers, if I'm either gonna go Jade Rabbit or I'm gonna go Icebreaker. Like I'm either gonna snipe you back or I'm gonna hold that like distance and have you staggered so much that you can't get me.
Do you use any specific like armor piece, like an exotic armor piece for that?
Bones of AO.
Ugh.
Necessary, because on Gunslinger I like to run more control or better control with Bones of AO. So I still get that double jump, but I get so much speed. And when I use shotguns, sometimes like you can jump into a situation with the shotgun, and then get that shot off, and then you can just jump right back, like you're in and out. And you can use that like whenever I go into a dangerous situation, I jump right back out as well. I'm like, fuck that.
That's me with Twilight Garrison.
Yeah, that's essentially what it allows us to do.
All right.
I was going to say I was just thinking about that the other day. How much playing more Crucible has really taught me to move with my Titan.
Oh yeah, I crutch on Twilight Garrison way too hard though.
Maybe that's why I'm bad at my Titan. I should be using Twilight Garrison some more.
Oh my god,
Big
it's
difference,
jumping.
man.
It's jumping Shade Step.
Yeah.
Scott, you got some Destiny Jeopardy for us? You want to do like 3 of them?
Yeah. Let's see.
Pick some tough ones see if you could stump Anon. This is like win Ben Stein's money.
Yeah, I toned him down after last time. Sorry.
Now I want tough ones.
Yeah. And I tried some tough ones from the Grimoire last time, and I thought they were kind of easy, but I got blank stares from these guys. They're like, "You're not allowed to do these anymore, man." I was like, "All right, sorry." Let's see.
Well, do you remember any of them? Because now I'm actually really interested.
Oh, what was the one about the cult? He's got a cult, but it's not Osiris. It's not Osiris.
Teachings that suggested okay, we'll redo that one. Teachings that suggested the light and darkness were equal parts of an equation. Had a cult, but not as big or successful as Osiris or the Future War cult.
Symmetry wasn't a cult.
No, is it? I don't.
Symmetry was
Ulantan.
yeah.
Symmetry was a faction, not a cult.
Were they a faction? I thought they called them a cult at one point in the Grimoire.
No, when the Concordat was getting pushed out, they said, should we bring in Symmetry? And they mentioned how Ulantan's teaching are more dangerous now that he's dead than he was alive. And then they said, what about the War Cult? And then they said, which one? And they were like, oh, the Future War Cult.
Okay, maybe I read that wrong then. I thought they called them a cult at one point, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that they were cultish.
No, there's the Trials of Osiris, the Osiris cultists, I guess technically the Future War Cult. I mean, I call them cultists insultingly, but I don't think they would call themselves cultists. And then there's the binary. It might be binary trinary. I'm not really sure if they're 2 separate groups or not, or if there were some internal changes. Those cultists as well.
So not only did Anon get the one that we were kind of stumped on, he also like shit on the explanation for it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's read them off, Scott. Let's get like 3 of these in.
All right.
I'm all out of DUSA.
DUSA. It's not bad. Is all.
It's not bad. Not
this
good.
type.
Go ahead.
Is known to have taught a crochet class.
Oh, Zavala.
Okay, so that one was an easy one.
That was from the Dawn.
It is a little easier with the stickers.
Yeah, that
yeah.
I wrote this like probably a month ago, and then of course the stickers came out. So.
No, it's actually from one of the PA announcements.
Yeah.
Zavala calls out saying, anyone who's in my crochet class, please report blah, blah, blah.
I haven't heard that PA announcement in a while either. It makes me kind of sad. All right, here's a good one. Number of Crucible match wins for Ikora Ray on her winning streak.
Oh shit.
Was it 25?
Yes.
Oh my god. I was like, I
Now-
don't know.
Now for bonuses, how many years ago was that based on the card that's in?
I don't know.
Wait, like how many like us years or in-game years?
It just says that in the card. It doesn't really define whether it's human years or like in game, but it's in the card.
So then that would be in the card.
This is a tough one.
I don't remember it saying specific years. That's really interesting though.
Yeah, I actually had to pull this up to double check it. Minor events of 100. It's just Ghost Fragment Cade 6. It's just came out with Age of Triumph. It's where he's Googling all this stuff. You know, were we invaded by horse people? Minor events.
Wait, repeat the question then.
Number of Crucible match wins for Ikora Ray in her winning streak. And you said 25. And then I said for bonuses, how many years ago was that? And it was just listed in the card. It says minor events of 126 years ago.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was basing that off of Invective
Oh, okay.
because I'm pretty sure Invective had a win 25 rounds in the Crucible.
Oh, okay.
I didn't play the Invective quest because I came in late in the Taken King.
Yep.
I missed out. It's funny because I was listening to a couple different podcasts and I was talking to some friends who are year one people and they're like, yeah, you have to do a quest for like Lord of Wolves and this and this. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just bought it from Zur.
So Invective used to be, because Invective is Ikora Ray's weapon, and the first thing you have to do is complete 5 strikes, and then the next thing you have to do after bringing it back to her is get a kill death spread of 25 in the Crucible. So that's what I was like, was it 25? Like I'm pretty sure it's 25 because Toland has the 20 strikes and she has the 25 kills.
I do not miss those fucking quests. Getting my year 1 Thorn was so fucking tough.
Word of Crota, man. That's all it does. That's a good yeah, the years, the 126 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull another.
Steve, you back? I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm back. No video though, because I'm on my phone.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I do love that Cade 6 card though. That's so good.
Horse people.
Yeah, minor events of 126 years ago. First 25 match Crucible winning streak held by related Ray I. Centaur Planetoid 7066 Nessus re-enters system after unexplained delay. Relate XXX. Did we get invaded by horse people? Sorry.
All right.
So that was just his first reaction to it, and that's a fair reaction. I think it's not as random as some people make him out to be.
That's funny.
All right.
I totally didn't read it like that. All right. Let's try this one. It's a super obscure kind of reference. I think I have it phrased well enough, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Commander Zavala has an idle text quote that says, "Treat your soldiers as your children." It's a variation on a quote from a very famous novel. Name that novel.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no.
Harry Potter.
I have no idea.
It's actually a quote from. It's a variation on a quote from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Let me look at that.
I should have guessed that. I really should have.
Yeah.
That's a good book, honestly. Like, it's like very useful for your everyday life, honestly. I know it sounds ridiculous, but
I've heard that, and I'm like,
intense
maybe I should read it, and then I'm like, no, I'll never use it. But the more I hear about it, the more I'm like, I think I should read that.
it's really good. I read it in high school.
It's like a psychology book, basically, right? Like it teaches you about the psyche of a bunch of different people.
Yeah, and a lot of it's kind of like no shit moments, but
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Keen Koala was on Crucible Radio a while ago and actually did comparison part by part of the Art of War with the Crucible and how to like translate it. And that was an episode where I was like, holy shit, this stuff all makes sense. This is crazy. All right. So the Sun Tzu quote is, regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look on them as your own beloved sons, and they will stand by you even unto death. And Zavala has a variation of that quote. I think it's the first part. It's just, he says, like, regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the darkness, or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the quote, but I can't find the translation.
I wish I could do a Lance Reddick impersonation, but I freaking can't. That dude's sick. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lance Reddick, though, let's go into our last topic.
Oh, really quick. I just want to touch on the Zavala quote. Well, that's a really interesting quote for Zavala to have. I don't think he really compares to Cade, because people think Cade's like just like a bunch of nonsense, and they mention how like the hunter viewpoint is very necessary for the Vanguard, and people don't get to see that enough. And I don't like that aspect of Cade. But one thing that Cade actually says is, what people don't get is you don't have to think like the enemy. You don't have to like them. Or what people don't get is that you have to think like the enemy. You don't have to like them. Just respect them.
Cade, coming with the deep cuts.
Yeah.
So this is our last topic. I wanted to do something of our normal show. We were really heavy on the Destiny today, so I wanted to do a little bit of funny stuff. I guess this isn't funny at all, but what are your top 5 cult TV shows? Or top 3 if you want. I have mine listed. I know, Anon, you didn't get this very quickly, so we can, if you want to think about it, we can slap you at the end of this one.
Hey, put me at the end. Steal
Answers from us. That's what I do when we do stuff that I only have like 3 for.
Yeah, all I can think of is like Rick and Morty, like off the top of my head.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I'm gonna start it off, and let's see, number 5, I'm gonna put as X-Files.
Nope.
Okay.
Fucking love X-Files. Actually, it's funny because we have a poster in our room right above our bed of the UFO, and it says, "I want to believe," and my daughter just stares at that all the time. She loves it, and I swear it's because the second night, the second night after she was born, I was letting my fiance sleep. She was exhausted, so you can't really sleep with a newborn baby. You know, you gotta just hold them, and they may sleep on you, but you can't fall asleep because you don't want to roll over on them and kill them or something. And we watched maybe like 8 or 9 hours of X-Files. So I think nice. I ingrained it in her already. For number 4, I'm going to put down... I was going to say one, but I'll leave that for Steve. I know he's got it on his. I'm going to say Freaks and Geeks.
Yes.
Oh, it's a good one.
That's one of mine, definitely.
I definitely love that show. Super cool to see all those characters as being young kids. Number 3, Arrested Development.
Yes.
Ooh.
I can't count the amount of times I'll make Arrested Development references at people and they just don't get it. Like, I love looking at people and being like, bees?
Daily.
Or
caw.
One of the guys from Crucible Radio, literally, he does the there's literally hundreds of us, or dozens of us, literally dozens of us, and I love that. Number 2 is Trailer Park Boys.
That's a good one.
I don't know if you guys have seen the newest season. It's actually good. Like,
no, I'm not caught up.
It started tanking in the second to last season. I was like, this is kind of getting shitty. The new season's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I mean, I wouldn't say it's their best, but it's sort of because like they keep doing this thing where they just keep going back to the same setting over and over, and I feel like they just need to break free of it.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched, really quick if you don't mind me asking, have you ever watched SwearNet?
I haven't. I want to watch that movie, though.
The movie, right?
Yeah, the movie. Super awesome movie. I'm just saying, if you're going to watch this, be prepared. You're going to see Randy's dick.
I don't mind. I look like Randy.
You don't look anything like Randy. I'm just saying it's not even like the type of thing where you can just be like, oh yeah, it's a good movie, because it's just like boom in your face.
I do love like Trailer Park Boys has some like really funny, just like the way they frame shots. They had one. I'm gonna see if I can frame it. It's Barb and Leahy talking.
Yeah, yeah, and he's just like in the shot
Yeah, it's just
with his
gut
gut.
in the corner. My number one is The Wire.
Those-
It's the fucking best show ever. I love The Wire. Lance Reddick, Zavala is fucking sweet in that, and then I love anything that Idris Elba does. So The Wire is my number one.
Can I be mad at him for a moment? Because I do like him, but can I be mad at him for a moment?
Oh, what's up?
Idris Elba is, and it's not his fault, is playing Roland in the Dark Tower movie. And it's going to sound like a race thing, and it sort of is a race thing, but Roland is white. And normally I wouldn't care. Like, it's like, oh, you can't make Spider-Man black. He's white. No, it's not that. It's because one of the plot points in the books is because Roland is white.
Oh,
So they're essentially going, nah, that doesn't happen. That was the main point. That was like the entire book. The fact that he was white and these people couldn't trust him, because, or this woman, I don't want to spoil anything, couldn't trust him because he was white. So what are they gonna do now? Like, she made a bunch of racial slurs against white people and claimed that he raped her a bunch of times.
well,
Like, it's just not.
I guess they make her Asian. I don't know.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. But real quick, there's a Mexican Spider-Man. There is a Peter Parker that is
Yeah.
Mexican.
Perfectly fine with that.
Shout
That's
out
cool.
to my homeboys.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
because that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's white or black or Mexican or Asian or Indian, or he can be anything under the fucking sun. I don't care.
Right.
He
'Cause he's
can be
Spider-Man.
Kryptonian. I don't care. Like, wrong planet,
Yeah.
wrong comics. I know, but sorry.
all right.
That's fine.
Anyway, so I'm gonna copy one of Ben's. Well, it's not really copying, but Arrested Development for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. These are in no particular order except for number one, which I know which one it is. Thank you for not saying it, Ben. I don't know if it's necessarily a cult TV show, but I'm currently going through Shameless right now, and I am hooked. It's
Yeah,
really
Shameless is good. It's one of those things where like Lauren and I will try and watch TV shows together, but she's home all day and I'm not, so I get to watch episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then episode like 14 when I get home.
Oh no!
That's how my ex was. But then she gets mad
Yeah.
at you when you start watching it while she's out.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
That's how my ex was. Ugh.
Okay.
All right. So then, I don't think they. I'm gonna clump them all together, but I don't think they're cult TV shows yet. But they will be. Is all the CW DC Comics TV shows. Let's just count them as one. The Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. All very good.
Yeah, I like those shows.
I intend to watch Buffy, so I'm just gonna put it on the list because I'm sure I'm gonna like it because it's Joss Whedon.
Okay.
Um,
Here's the deal with Buffy. It's super rough when it starts because it's 90s as fuck. They call it the web instead of the internet.
Oh my god.
So
Oh, wow.
you have to watch the first season as like a joke on the 90s. Like it's really funny if but my whole thing was cuz I used to watch it with my roommate. So she would put it on and I would just like watch the hell out of it, but you kind of have to laugh at it, and then as it keeps going, you get more invested in the characters, and eventually it's just not funny anymore, and you're just invested. So it is good, but like the reason I started watching it is not the reason I finished watching it.
Okay. Well, and speaking of Joss, I just read the other day, and I don't know if it's real news or fake news, but
Alternative facts.
supposedly he's he's going to be directing the Batgirl movie for the DC Extended Universe, and that makes me really happy. Batgirl is one of my absolute favorite DC characters, and everything Joss does turns to gold, so should be good if that's true. Anyway, and then I'm just gonna skip to number 1 because I can't think of anything else. Is Firefly.
Yep. So we just need something that Ikora's been in to round all this out.
I mean, man, it's
Ikora was in
it's brilliant.
Firefly.
Oh yeah, she was in Firefly. Whoops.
Gina Torres.
Hello. Hey.
Yep, her and Nathan Fillion. So, yeah, I don't know how many times I've watched that series, and I will continue to watch it over and over again. It's just really good.
What's the crazy girl in that? Because she is super hot.
Summer Glau.
Yeah, super hot. Anyway, Scott, what's your top 5?
Well, Firefly was my number 1, but I feel it warrants mentioning again. Honestly, it's one of the it's one of the series that like I'm still going through and watching, and I found it years later, and I was like, man, this is really good. So that is probably my number 1, but I'll go through the others, no specific order. American Horror Story. I love horror movies. I love mysteries. That one had some good seasons. Nothing has touched the first one still, but it's still a favorite. We'll still watch it and then think about it. My wife and I will talk about it. Like, was that as good as season 1? Not really. Where did it fall in? So we like to rank that, but that's pretty good. Venture Brothers is another one. I love the Venture Brothers. I need to catch up on them. I haven't had cable in like 4 years, so there's a couple seasons that I'm down.
There's this thing called the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to hook my computer. I might stream hockey sometimes on my computer, but it gets really hot. I'm like,
Bro, okay, here's what you're going to do.
don't want to deal with that.
This is a Raspberry Pi Zero with Wi-Fi, okay? It's this big. You can put Kodi on it, and then you can watch anything from the fucking internet, and it's this big.
I'll have to check that out.
This is $10 for the case and this. $10.
Oh, shit.
So
Wow.
hook that up.
That's awesome.
Oh, you don't have to have a Fire Stick anymore?
No, bro. Bam.
Oh.
And you could not only have Kodi, but this is also a up to Super Nintendo emulator.
Futurama was one of the other ones that I had.
Okay.
And then I was going to actually cap it off with 2 that were kind of obscure. Because Trailer Park Boys was one of them, but that didn't... you already mentioned that. The first one is Space Above and Beyond, which was on Fox in the late 90s. It was basically like it followed... It was real similar to some of the X-Wing, Star Wars X-Wing novels, where they would like... It followed this squad of like fighters, starfighters, and it lasted 1 season, and they were basically, flying around fighting aliens who were trying to invade Earth and other systems, so they were part of like the... But that sort of started me on my love of like sci-fi space shooter stuff, which is relevant to the conversation. And then the other one that I had, which I run into people who know it sometimes, and other people are like, what is Black Mirror? It's on Netflix.
Oh, Black Mirror is pretty cool, except the first episode where he fucks a pig is fucking weird.
Yeah, you got to get through that one, because the first episode, so I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then like the second one, I'm like, okay, that was pretty weird. And then it just goes from there. Like my wife and I watch it together, and then there was the one where like, I think it's the third one with the boyfriend and the girlfriend. He dies, and then it just goes from there. And we're just like, oh God, I don't feel okay watching this. Like I feel very, very upset afterwards. And then I think it's the one after that with the memory implant, where we're like, dude, the guy in this storyline is fucking nuts. And then at the end, he's like, oh, that painting, blah, blah, blah. And like, 'cause I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but they get through that. And then like my wife and I, when they got to the plot twist, we both started like, oh, like, oh, it was crazy. So Black Mirror is fantastic.
Cool. All right, Anon.
So I just want to say 2 things. I have 2 monitors as well, but my right monitor likes to disconnect all the time. So if I look like I'm not actually like paying attention, it's because I don't have you guys to look at. So it's because I can't get the window onto the other monitor. And also I'm looking at my TV, and going through Netflix to look at my watch it agains because I'm like, oh, that's where my TV shows are. So I got my TV shows. The Office,
Oh yeah.
The League. The first four, no particular order. I just fucking watch them again and again and again. The number one is like my favorite show ever.
Okay.
Were you gonna say something there?
I was gonna say the funniest fucking part in all of The Office is they're all out somewhere, and this is like post Pam and Jim getting married, when Angela is like in the contract with Dwight, and Dwight's talking to I think one of Pam's sisters, and she like walks away, Pam's sister, and Dwight's just standing there, and Angela kind of like creeps up next to him, and he does that fuck, and it's like the only time I've ever heard them bleep anything. I always die laughing at that part.
I love
Yes.
the one where Pam and Jim they just had their first kid, so Dwight took over both of their desks and made Mega Desk,
Yeah.
and then he's like, I need more Mega Desk throughout the entire episode, and then at the end, Jim stacks them on top of each other and puts Dwight's phone in between the two lower desks, and he's like, what is this? And then Jim's like, I call it Quad Desk. That doesn't make sense. We'll have to rethink of a name. And then his phone starts ringing, and he still goes to answer his phone.
That and Asian Jim is great.
Yes. Oh my God, Asian Jim.
Isn't that the guy that plays Kim Jong Un in the
Yeah.
interview?
He's
Yeah.
also on,
he's the fresh off the boat.
Yes, that's the show. That's a pretty good show.
It's not a bad show.
It helps you relive the 90s.
Good on you for not seeing color, Dwight. Then also The League, which if you are like me and don't like sports at all, The League is a show about a fantasy football league, and it is not about sports at all. So it is awesome. It's hilarious. It is very graphic, very graphic adult humor. Sort of to set the tone. One character has a very mentally disturbed brother-in-law, and a sex addict joins their league, and another character's wife is trying to seduce the sex addict because he's not getting he's not really responding to her in any way, and she feels a little devalued like that. She doesn't want to have sex with him. She's just like trying to get him to want to have sex. And he's not into normal women. He's into broccoli because it reminds him of alien titties. So the end of the episode is the sex addict screwing the brother-in-law who's high on cocaine because one of his triggers is cocaine in men's beards.
Man.
Just to put a setting for what to expect with that show. Number 3
So good.
is Archer.
Love
if you don't Archer,
Yes.
Archer, which I just found out they're still continuing. I'm happy about that. I don't want to ruin anything by saying any more. Number 4 is an MTV original, Scream. It's a TV series with 2 current seasons and a movie. And if you've ever seen, I think there's another show on Netflix called Slasher. Slasher is awful. It's trying to do what Scream has succeeded in doing and failing miserably. Because a slasher flick should not work in TV format, awful, but Scream does it great. Slasher does what essentially Scream said is the inevitability, because they're sort of meta with it in the beginning. And they say how like slasher flicks don't work if they're not like bright and hot, if they don't just go really fast and then over. But Scream does a really good job building up characters and building up the environment. And it's a very good series that you should all check out. And number 1, the only one that actually is any rank to it, is BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah.
It's just too
Heard
fucking
about
good.
that.
I really feel like the first season should have ended 1 episode sooner than it did.
No, fuck you. You're wrong.
Oh man, it would have been such a good way to. I'm sorry, spoiler alert for BoJack Horseman, but in the second to last episode, when it ends, when he's at the Q&A. He's like, "Tell me I'm a good person." He's like breaking down, screaming, "Tell me I'm a good person." I was like, if you would have ended it there, holy shit. Because that show is like actually like, yeah, it gets to me. It's really
I
good.
I watched it because it had Will Arnett, and I was like, oh, I love Will Arnett. I'll give the show a shot. And I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I hated it. I was like, this is the dumbest fucking crap. And then I gave it another chance, and I just sat down and I watched it, and I was like, oh, I get it now. Because it is a very funny show, but it is so much more than just a comedy. It's about a very, very troubled, washed up 90s TV star. And I don't know, it's just, you can't really describe it. And they always do a lot of, they make fun of celebrities in the best fucking way
Yeah.
as well. Like they had Daniel. I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure it was actually Daniel Radcliffe was on playing himself, and it was like a game show where at the end there was $1 million that would go to charity if BoJack got the answer right, and Daniel was being a fucking dick to BoJack the entire episode, and they go, "Who is the star of Harry Potter?" And he goes, "Elijah Wood." So
Yeah.
they hit like a lot of really great. They know how to make things bittersweet and like the best fucking way.
Yeah, BoJack's a fucking great show.
Yeah, I'm about to watch it again because now I'm just like looking at it. Oh, BoJack, I need to watch you. Like I've watched that show like 6 times, all 3 seasons, and I need season 4. Season 3 just came out, and I need season 4 like now because it's so fucking good, and it's a show that only gets better. And actually, I have a 6th if you don't mind because it is another show that only gets better.
Yeah.
It's the Hulu original, Last Man on Earth.
Dude, love that show. It's so funny.
Yeah, it starts out like really like lame and like really cringy and like what is going on, but it only gets better. It's always moving up.
My favorite part about that show is, so I don't know if you guys have seen the Todd Margaret show or whatever of Todd Margaret, but
The increasingly poor decisions of Todd Martin.
yeah. So I was like, after the first season and they said they were coming out with the second one, I was like, oh no, it's going to be Todd Margaret. And like, I can't watch Todd Margaret because I can't see that guy get shit on that much and keep fucking up that much. And I love that they got to a point with Last Man on Earth that everyone else started being the fuck up awful people. Because I was like, oh my god, because it gets so tiring watching one person be a complete fucking moron. Like,
Yeah.
I love
Absolutely.
that they mix that show up.
And he is always a complete fucking moron, and he has like this iconic horrible roundabout logic that gets him nowhere. And like I think it's only because there's like literally 7 people left in the world that they put up with it, like that they're not just like, get the fuck out of my life, like
Yeah.
they can't, because he's one of the 7 people still in the world.
Yeah, that show's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Are you up to date on it?
I am not. The last I watched, his brother was like
Oh
coming back
my
to Earth.
god. Oh,
Oh, you missed a lot.
Yeah, so I'm pretty far behind.
I almost ruined something for you. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm glad you didn't. Well, that wraps up our double length episode for Destiny 2. This one's like fucking 2 hours long. It was a lot of fun though. What's up?
Actually, I actually wanted to bring something up before, but you really segued off it really fast. Fuck. Since this is barely a Destiny show, you made a comment about Zavala's quote, which was about a book, and there is another game that has a quote that I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Have you guys played Skyrim?
Yeah.
No.
Not
You
yet.
might still know the quote.
Okay.
And it's based off of a book, and it's one of my favorite series. And since this is barely a Destiny show, we should talk. I think I should actually sort of perpetuate games that aren't Destiny. So Skyrim. Does anyone know where the quote "I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an arrow to the knee" comes from?
No.
Oh, I've read this before, but I can't
Gosh.
remember. Shit.
People always think it means until he got married, but that's not the case.
I don't know.
The developers had said in an interview that it's a reference to one of their favorite books, and it's easily one of my favorite series as well because it's not just one book. The Kingkiller Chronicles, specifically The Name of the Wind, the first book, where essentially a person who made himself a legend, like the type of person that people talk about in stories, faked his death after killing a king, after killing the king. Faked his death and is now pretending to just be a normal barkeeper. And when a lot of people finally came into his bar, which is always empty, he got like really caught up in the moment and started singing with them, and someone recognized who he was. So he pretends to fall down and says, "I used to be a caravan guard until I took an arrow to the knee."
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, my favorite Skyrim quote is "Werebears? Bears? Where? Men that are bears?" Because a dude just like runs up, says that to you, and then leaves. There's nothing else with that.
Have you guys ever seen We Bare Bears?
No.
It's a kids show, but it's very funny.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. End of the show. Housekeeping. We do have the NFL draft is kind of going on right now. So when football season starts up, we're going to be doing a fantasy football league for our audience and us. So if you want to be in that, send us an email, send us a tweet, and we will look forward to it.
Is it going to be anything like the league? Because if so, I am so in.
You know?
I mean, we can
It kinda
shit
is.
talk a bunch and settle scores in Destiny.
Yeah.
You know what?
We'll
You know
do
what the
like
best
I
thing
bet
about
you
this
if you
is?
don't get this, like I bet you I beat you, and if I beat you, you have to delete your Vex or something like that.
The best thing about this is if you go and watch the league, I'm going to be the taco of the league.
Oh, I forgot to set my lineup again.
I went to that thing where fuck, what was it? He would go to change his password when he's trying to set his lineup.
He makes his team name his password.
Yeah, password is taco.
So we're gonna be doing that. We are gonna be I think we're gonna be setting up a tournament, a Rumble tournament. So that'll be another thing to look out for. Probably have some more information on that next week. I think that's about all I can say for housekeeping. I am your host, Detective Ben Malone. That's Det Ben Malone on PlayStation, on Twitter, and on Twitch, where you can watch us Sundays at 2 p.m. You can send us an email at barelyadestinyshow@gmail.com. Steve, where can people find you?
I am Xanafan711 everywhere. That's ZANIFAN 711. Twitch, Twitter, and PSN. Hit me up for raids. I still need to do finish Wrath and King's Fall for my book.
And Scott, where can people find you?
Slapshot Scott, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. The O's are zeros. PSN is Slapshot Fed. O is the 0, E is the 3, 19 on the end.
It's Slapshot Fed. Oh, okay, 19. Yeah, you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anon, where can people find you and your show?
You can find me at AnonPig on Twitter. That's pretty much all I do. Although, I guess, technically I'll be doing more things I don't want to speak too soon on it, but I might be contributing to the Destiny Tracker YouTube a little bit.
Cool.
You can find the podcast that I am a host on, along with Mythos, Mike Purple Chimera, and Handsome Dragon, Destiny Lorecast, at Destiny Lorecast on Twitter as well. And you can find us on any podcast app, Google Play. We're not on Stitcher. I keep meaning to get us on Stitcher because apparently that means something to people.
Oh, yeah.
And
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
We had somebody the other day asked us if we were going to be on Google Play soon. And I mean, right now we're only on Podbean and iTunes. I will be trying to do Stitcher and Google Play this week. So hopefully this will come out on those. You guys can hear this episode on those.
Yeah, because like we have the RSS feed, so you can find it. We're on Google Play and iTunes, and there's the RSS feed, so it's like you can get us on anything except any like we only have what we say we can have things, which is Stitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if people that listen to podcasts know this. If you just click that RSS feed, it'll just pretty much open in whatever podcast app you have. So,
like I listen on
that.
Podcast Addict because that's the easiest for me.
Yeah,
It's very nice. If people don't like their iTunes or Google Play format, like how it looks and how it works, check out Podcast Addict because it's very, very convenient.
So yeah, we'll be trying to get those up. Anon, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know it was like real last minute.
Doing anything?
We were supposed to have Gabble on. We had some issues with that. We will have him on eventually. So guys, look out for that. Sorry if anybody was tuned in to hear Gabble on this episode, and we totally just didn't fucking mention it till the end.
Oh yeah. That's gotta be like a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
You should drop something on the top.
Yeah, maybe. I do have to edit this one, so
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah.
I hate editing.
A lot of technical difficulties today.
We're going to listen to some music from Sports. You can find them at realsportsboys.bandcamp.com. There's some really cool dudes out of Boston. Oh fuck, I don't know what we're gonna play today.
I thought you were gonna like play like Sports Center at the end when you
No.
mentioned that at the top.
Do-do-do.
Yeah, like I was like, that's a weird thing to go out
We
on.
should be able to have somebody from sports on the show eventually, I would imagine.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing a Magic the Gathering thing. Even though I don't play that game, I just kind of want to like talk about Magic the Gathering a little bit to appease some people.
Have you ever played it? Because
I
it's sort of
have.
fun.
I have.
I mean-
I'm not into
Played
sinking
a
money
lot.
into it. That's my whole thing.
I have a extremely addictive TCG personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if I
Same.
start playing it, all my money is gone. I do not let myself play it.
So I think we played them on the show before, but we're gonna play like 2 of the songs from the end of their album Demon Days. Again, check it out on Bandcamp. Please throw them a donation. It's free. You can name your price, but toss them $5. They're good dudes. That being said, we will see you guys next week when we talk about Barely Destiny. All right, thanks again, Anon, for coming on the show. We
Of
really
course, man.
appreciate
It was a blast.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Peace. Thank you again for listening to our show. Catch us next week. Yeah. Also, this is something that I'm going to put into the beginning of the show, but Gabble Ratchet was not able to make it, so we have AnonPig instead. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Unless you're a cool dude, then I might want to be you, you know? Yeah, see ya.